everybody, this is Eric with RV Great Lakes, and today I'm going to be doing a full walkthrough, how we walk through with all our customers and show you every feature about this Winnebago Vita RV. These are the ones that we actually rent out, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to put this all in video for you. So let's kick it off right here. We'll circle around the whole RV, we'll go do another circle inside the interior of the RV, and by the time this video is completed, you should know everything you need to know to successfully take one of these Vitas out, go camping, have a great time, and not have any questions. So the very first thing I wanted to start off with is we've got some plugs here. If you have any outdoor accessories that you need to do, you've got standard residential 120 volt plugs. You've also got a cable hookup for an external TV. We don't personally use external TVs, we don't have one. I guess theoretically, if you want to bring one, you could, although we don't use them. Here is your propane. The propane, we always leave it turned off when we're traveling. When you need to use it, you turn it on, right there in the main valve. This is your gauge. It shows you how much propane you have left in the tank. Essentially, it goes all the way up to 3/4 of the tank. That's considered full with a tank like this. And then as you see, it could go all the way down to empty. If you needed to get it refilled when you're traveling, using a lot of propane, running the generator, cooking a lot, then the fill is right here. An RV shop, U-Haul, something like that, someone that services propane tanks will be able to fill that for you. The other thing to take a look at here is we've got a propane output. This is for external barbecues. We actually provide the external barbecues that are available as an option, and it connects right here. Moving down the side of the coach, here's the intake and the exhaust for a furnace. Nothing really to mention about it other than that's what it is. The water heater, there's nothing serviceable in here, but that's what that is. The first thing you'll come to and on the side would be the main storage, outdoor storage compartment. Right now you can see that it's empty other than our two freshwater hoses, but otherwise the only things that we would be putting in here with you guys would be the freshwater hoses, the barbecue if you elect to get the barbecue. We've got the chairs that come with the RV. We've got a mat that goes out under the awning for the floor to keep the dust down when you're going in and out of the RV. Otherwise, use as much capacity in here as you need to. And here, you have your holding tank for fresh water. Now, you would use the holding tank for fresh water. This is when you're traveling, you're on the road, you need water service, you can turn on the water pump, and it comes out of this water tank here. It's 37 gallons. And this is the freshwater holding fill up, and it's actually called gravity fed. It means that you can fill it with a hose, or you can actually take water jugs and pour them in directly. It doesn't actually have to be hooked up to a hose. You can just stick your hose in there, or just, like I said, fill it with a water jug. Now we come around to the other side. I prefer to refer to this side as the utilitarian side, and I think as I go through this, you will see why. This is the utility side of the RV, where the other side is where the awning is, the door. That would be the fun side. That's the side of the RV you're going to spend the most of the time on when you're outside of the RV. On this side, the first thing you'll come across is the shore power. Shore power is the power that you use. And I'll go ahead and pull it out so you see what I'm talking about. Inside the door is your cord for the shore power. You can go ahead and unplug it. You'll see it's a standard 3-prong 30 amp RV. There's two standards for RVs, 50 and 30. You've got the smaller one, which is great because it's a lot more common. When you're not using the shore power, there's a plug in there. You want to make sure that you plug this back in to that plug. Reason being is that plug actually goes to the generator. If it's not plugged in, the generator will start up, but it won't provide any power to the coach. Go ahead and close that. Above your shore power door, you actually have City Connect for water, your flush water. You've got another input for cable. This would be if the campsite actually provides cable TV. I don't think very many of them do anymore. I've never actually seen it. and then you have another hookup for extra solar. We don't provide any extra solars, so that won't be of any use to you. I just wanted to point out what it is because it's here. Now, if you actually get to a campsite that has full service, full hookups, then you can go ahead and connect your full service water here. We provide an elbow, a 90-degree elbow, and also a pressure regulator. Both need to be used, and then you connect one of your white freshwater hoses to this right here, and then you'll have unlimited fresh water for showering, cooking, anything you need it for. This is our utility storage. This is the smaller one. It's on the driver's side. Inside our utility box, we've got our sewer hose in a box to keep the rest of the coach clean in case there's a little bit of water left over. We've got a flush hose that would be used with the sewer hose when you're flushing the black tank. We provide a folding shovel for your campsite if you have a little fire going on. We've got a safety flag if you need the safety flag. We've got wheel chocks. We've got a tool kit. And then we've also got this box here, which we've got some tape in it for you. Here's your freshwater hookups. Here's your pressure regulator and your 90-degree that would screw in over there. Then you've got something here called a water bandit. If you actually go to a campsite where their faucet is damaged, you could just jam this on and then connect your hose to it. We also provide in this box a 30 amp to residential 15 amp conversion plug. So if you're camping somewhere and all they have is standard residential power, you'll still be able to plug your coach in. You just won't be able to run the air conditioner. Otherwise, everything else will work the same. Behind this door is your generator set. There's nothing serviceable for our customers, so there's no reason to even go inside there. Moving forward to the cab, you open up the door, and here's where you add the fuel for the diesel fuel. Now what we always do, make sure we close that door, and then you can access it. Obviously put your fuel in. The reason we want to close the door is because if diesel sprays all over, you definitely don't want it going inside the coach. Go ahead and open the door, close the fuel door, and that's back to what you need. One more thing to cover on the outside would be how to open the hood, and the reason is because you may need to add def. A lot of our customers go multiple thousands of miles when they actually take our RVs out because they're really reliable and efficient. So because you go so far, you need to add def. So to do that, this is where the hood release is. Go ahead and pull it forward. That'll open the hood. Go ahead and close the door. Walk over here. Left of center, you'll find the hood release. Go ahead, open up the hood. Put the prop stick down here. The hood will stay up, and your def fill is right here. Remember, lift it up, hold the prop stick back up, close the hood. When you enter the coach, the first thing that's right accessible is a fire extinguisher. We hope you never need to use it, but it's here if you do. Continuing on into the RV, we've got the master control panel, the solar controller, the slide, and inverter. Up here is your slide. This will be how you slide out the room and expand the coach. You only do this obviously when you're camping or parked. Down below that, we've got the inverter control. The way the inverter control works is you just hold it over, hold it over, it'll beep, the indicator light will turn green, and we're gonna leave that on right now because as we walk through, we'll check out the TV, the refrigerator. The inverter is what enables the TV and the refrigerator to run off of the batteries when you're not plugged into power and you're not running the generator. Moving forward, you've got the solar controller. There's nothing on here that's user accessible. The only thing you can look up and see, okay, we're at 13 volts. We know the batteries are charged. Another way to look at the batteries is you've got these indicator buttons. You can go ahead and press battery and you can see all 4 lights are lit up. So we're at 100% on the battery. Let's go through them all. You've also got fresh, black, and gray. So we touch fresh, We know that our fresh tank is empty. That's because it's parked. There's no reason when it's camping, when it goes out with you guys, it'll always be full. Black tank is empty, the gray tank is empty because obviously it's parked. We never leave anything in the holding tanks, and when it comes back we expect the holding tanks to be empty, just like it is when you pick up the RV. Other controls on this master control, you've got your water heater. To turn on the water heater, you just flip it to gas. And you also want to make sure whenever you got the water heater running that you have the water going. Since we're not going to be heating any water and we don't care about pumping any water, we can go ahead and shut those off. You always want to turn them off if there's a leak somewhere or something else. Worst case scenario, it floods the coach. Best case scenario, if you leave it on, it'll waste all your water. So you want to make sure that when you're not using the hot water heater or the water, just shut those off. The last control on here is your generator. Now you can go ahead and you just hold this for about 5 seconds. You'll hear the generator starting. Once you hear it running, you can go ahead and let off the start. Same thing to shut it down. You just hold it all the way down to stop, and when you hear it stop, you can take your finger off stop. Below the sink, you'll see that we also have this display. What this display tells you is the power condition coming in from your shore power. This is important because a lot of times when you go to campgrounds, they may not have the best power available. So what this does is it monitors the power and makes sure that it's running at the right voltage, the right frequency, and if it's not, then it won't turn on the power. There's a switch that's covered up, bypassing normal. We always want it in normal. It's taped down for that very reason. And we have a cheat sheet that will explain if you see any error codes, that's all provided as well. Now going over here, you've got external lights. You've got a light here for your doorway. You've got a light here that runs along the whole awning. And then this actually pushes your awning out and in. Going over here, you've got tank heaters. Now this becomes an issue if you're camping and it's below 40 degrees. You want to make sure that your holding tanks don't freeze. So you go ahead and turn that on. The red light indicates that the tank heater's on. And as long as you're not camping in too cold of weather, your black and gray tanks will not freeze. You've got a coach battery light or battery switch on and off. You always leave it on. There's no reason to turn it off. You turn it off when you're parking for long term, but any of our campers will always just leave it on the whole time. This one is a step lockout, and essentially what that means is, I'll go ahead and show you. We can do this and activate it by the screen door. If you close the door, the step automatically goes in. You open it back, the step automatically goes out. Now if we shut it off to off, as we close the door, the step stays open. So if you're in a campsite and you don't want to hear the stairs going in and out, in and out, and in and out, you could just go to set it to off. When you want it to go back to normal, you slide this over, flip it on, the stairs just came back in. The last two switches here are your light switches. One's for your lighted spice rack in the front, and this is your master lights, and this is the majority. When you walk in, this will turn on the majority of the lights for you. Now once you're inside, you'll see here's the kitchen area and the TV area. The kitchen is a large 2-basin sink with a pull-out faucet, a large window, you've got lighting above. And then when you get to the upper cabinet, you'll find the TV. This indicator light is on, and that means that the power is on to the TV, and that means they're either plugged into shore power, or in the case that we're in right now, the inverter's turned on, so the TV will actually work off the batteries. Behind the TV, we actually have an extra cord. The reason we provide this cord over every other plug in here, this is actually running off the inverter. What's great about that is if you need to charge your phone, or you need to charge a laptop, or you're working while traveling or something like that, you can run small electronic devices off of this. You don't want to plug a coffee maker or anything like that into it, but if you're just running laptops or something like that, this is a perfect option for you. Also inside here, we've got 2 LED lanterns. These are rechargeable. We provide the charging cord, but they put off a tremendous amount of light, which works really great for camping. We've even got some bungee cords in here, so you can tie the lanterns to a tree, or you could hang it off the awning if you wanted to, wherever you need to. Last but not least, we provide a Marshall Bluetooth speaker, which, if you connect your phone to it, provides a great sound, easily filling up the RV here. For cooking in the kitchen, we have a 3-burner propane stove, which is really nice. A lot of them just have the induction cooktops, 1 burner. This actually provides quite a bit of cooking space. You just fold it up, then when you're done, close it back. We also have a microwave that's also a convection oven. So you can brown something like an oven, or use the microwave just to heat something quickly. In this cabinet down here, we provide a 3-foot camping table, a couple of collapsible totes for packing and unpacking, and we also have the pedestal table, which we'll be showing later. But this provides the table that you would use for the dining in front of the loungers. Right here we have a full-size corner bed, which is a fantastic option because you can go to sleep without having to push the slide out, which saves you time if you're really tired. Going forward, we provide a bathroom. It has a full-size shower that you can stand up in, obviously, as well as a toilet. Just outside of the bathroom, you've got a vanity, and you've also got a medicine cabinet so that you can store all your toiletries that you'd need while you're traveling. Over here is obviously the refrigerator. 7.3 cubic feet, gives you lots of room for longer camping as well as a freezer. Now we're getting to my favorite part of the RV, the lounger. These are fantastic because they're actually really, really comfortable. You can sit down, pull the handle, sit back, Netflix and chill. Now if you want to dine inside the RV and you're not camping, then we also provide a pedestal table. You put the tube in the bottom, and then the table just goes right down on top. There it is there. And it's actually offset so you can rotate it if you want it one area or the other. A unique feature of the Vita is that it has what's called a folding parking brake. Now, to enable the brake, you pull up like a normal. To release the brake, you push on the thumb button, pull it up, it'll release. There's one more feature though. If you have the brake set and you want to rotate the seat, you can just push it down. To release the brake, just pull it up till it stops, and then push the button and lift it just like before. So the first thing you do is just go ahead and unlock the doors, and that'll start turning on everything inside the vehicle. You'll see the engine start button is actually starting to breathe. It's flickering, going on and off. And there's a couple things you could do here. If you want to activate the slide, you could just push it once. You'll see the gauges sweep. If you push it a second time, then all of the lights come on as well. That means the vehicle is actually in the on position like it would be if you're driving, except the engine's not running. That'll enable you to operate the slide. That would probably be the most important thing you would do when you would have it on. Otherwise, you would hit it again. Your radio will still function. That means you're basically in the accessory mode. To shut it off completely, you go ahead and lock it. But we're going to actually drive it. So let's go ahead and unlock it. Put your foot on the brake, and then you just go ahead and push the engine start button once. Everything will cycle through. It'll start up. No need to wait for a glow plug or anything. It automatically does all that for you. You'll hear the car running. You see the gauges. It takes a couple seconds for it to pick up the fuel temp or the fuel level and the def level. Once that's all set up, you're ready to go. Now to go through some of the controls, let's go through the obvious basic ones first. Down here, you have your climate control. This is just your temperature up and down. Obviously you can see the temperature is changing. This is your fan control over here. Other things to note on here, this is actually where the fan's blowing out. You can see that it's just standard where it would be for air conditioning. That includes your heater, defrost, and all modes. Over here would be your max defrost, which obviously really ramps up the fan. You can hear it. That's if your windows are really clogged up from humidity or whatever. That'll clear that. Your air conditioner, generally you can leave that on and it'll still be controlled by the temperature control. This is recycle. If you're driving through some area in Wisconsin, dairy farm, smells bad, close that. It'll recycle the air. Last but not least is your emergency flasher. If you pull over, you're not parked where you need to be parked, something like that, obviously that's what the emergency flasher's on. Moving up here, this is your infotainment system. You can always hit your home button there. Right now we're set into info. Info is good because it gives you all your horsepower, gives you your temperatures, everything like that. Not really all that useful for most people driving. The one thing that you may find interesting, and it's in this info, is the operator's manual. It's not the most intuitive manual, but it is the entire manual of how the Sprinter works. More useful things would be navigation, radio, and if you decide to connect your video or connect your phone, then that's where it would be under media. But we can go through all this real quick. So let's go with navigation. Since we're actually parked at the home base, that's where we are. On Lake Michigan. Why it's auto-correcting, I'm not sure. There we go. Now we select the mode, and as we scroll in, here we are in Milwaukee. Obviously, it's touch controlled, but you would go ahead if you wanted to go to search, and this is where you would go ahead and put in your information, point of interest, or address to where you're traveling to. It works really, really well. Radio should be fairly obvious. You can just scan for channels. Otherwise, there's really not much to adjust in here. No need to really change the presets unless you really want to. If you did, you would just go ahead and hold it there. We're on FM now, you have AM, and then tune in. I believe if you have a tune in account, you can use that. Let's go ahead and turn the radio back off. I'll just turn the volume all the way down. Media is where your phone would be connected. You can obviously connect through USB or Bluetooth, and it would be controlled there. Okay, now to drive, obviously you're going to need to put it in gear. So to do that, here's your shift control right over here. You go ahead, put your foot on the brake, push it up, go into reverse. You can see the R on the dashboard. It'll also turn on the camera. To drive forward, you just go ahead and pull it down. You'll see the D down here. Puts it in drive on the dash. Neutral is right in the middle, so if you're just push it up slightly, it'll actually go into neutral. There's really no reason to ever do that, but I figured it might as well be as comprehensive as possible. Now to stop and park, you push at the end the button for park. You can see that it changes to park. You always want to make sure your parking brake is set before you park, but that's how the transmission shifts. Now the steering wheel controls are fairly intuitive. Here's your volume control for your entertainment system, your 𝗏𝗶𝘀 over there. If you connect your phone to it, then this is your pick up and hang up for the phone. These controls up here do the same thing as scrolling through your 𝗏𝗶𝘀 system. There's your home. This goes side to side. And this is your return. On this side over here, this is your cruise control on the bottom half. Cruise control on and off. So to use it, you would turn it on, indicator comes on the dash, then you would set your speed, either up or down, doesn't matter. To cancel, obviously you can go down to cancel, or the more intuitive way is just to hit the brakes, like every other vehicle with cruise control. And restore is the same. If you were previously going down the interstate at say 70 miles an hour, you had to slow down to 60, then you can hit restore and it'll bring it back to the last recorded speed that you had the cruise control set. In here, this is your trip. It shows you your mileage. And the only other one that you may want to look at is you can go home. It brings up all the different options, and navigation. If you go into navigation and you're using the navigation here, then it'll give you a summary here of how many miles until your next turn and the direction of the turn. Otherwise, you can just keep it on trip.